really, the struggles of Hong Kong are a microcosm of struggles which are going on around the world. And John and I have very much a shared interest in what we might call the power of the powerless. And this is going back for he and I to looking at the 1980s situation and behind the communist bloc in Central Europe, Eastern Europe and so on, and trying to raise the profile of the writings of people like Václav Havel, who went on to become president of Czechoslovakia as was, basically interested in how it is that ordinary people in this room, all of us, can make our voices heard, can struggle for human rights, for dignity, for respect. These are universal themes. So we sit here partly, of course, in admiration and comradeship with those of you struggling in Hong Kong for these very basic aspects of human life that we should all expect, but also because we're interested in how this reflects on our own society and societies across the world. And it's not just about China, it is about the struggles in Europe, the struggles in Americas, struggles in Africa and so on. What can we learn from these struggles in Hong Kong? So I'm very much looking forward to hearing this opening set of sessions.
The movement was non-violent. It remains non-violent, decentralized, equipped with the latest IT, even with drones. The movement was thoroughly media savvy. The question is, how important have digital media been in this struggle? Remember, the Tiananmen uprisings took place in the spring-summer of 1989 in the era of the typewriter, in the era of mass broadcasting, television and radio. The Umbrella uprising is digital. Its networked, dispersed, distributed structures make for much greater flexibility, mobility and experimentation with new social media. Does the Umbrella movement require us to change our thinking about such matters as revolution, elections and democracy? Some say revolution is a thing of the past. Western media reports, you will note, concentrate on numbers in the streets, and they point out that the Umbrella movement is dying a slow death. Is this all true? Or might the movement be rather like the umbrella of a jellyfish? I'm not sure if you've ever looked at a jellyfish. Don't pick them up, but if you look at the umbrella, it's actually called the umbrella of a jellyfish. It's a sort of gelatinous disc which has this amazing ability to contract and expand as it moves through the water. Could it be that the umbrella movement is rather like the jellyfish? That is, a form of resistance that is practicing the arts of staying alive, sometimes apparently retreating, sometimes going forward through the use of umbrella media. A big question. Is this phenomenon of 2014 and into this year the deadliest challenge to one-party rule in China since Tiananmen? Is there truth in the remark of Hu Jia, a prominent dissident in Beijing who was placed immediately under house arrest during the Yusan, that, as he put it, the outcome of this battle for democracy, Minzhu, will also determine future battles for democracy for all of China?
Around 500,000 people I'm talking about, joined the annual July 1st rally organized by the Civil Human Rights Fund to demand genuine universal suffrage. Despite OCLP objections, more than 500 college students and other citizens stayed behind after the rally to trial one to occupy Central by sitting down on the main road in Central. It constitutes a sign of young people impatience with OCLP plan to treat occupation as a last resort.
We really have to trace the origin of this story, but then we have to go back to the 80s. So 80s is actually the starting point of the democratic movement in Hong Kong. Everything starts in the 80s. Because in the 80s, in the early 80s, it was a time that the Chinese government and the British government to deal with how Hong Kong will be going after 1997. So actually, the Chinese government and the British government, they started the negotiation in 1982. So only a year and a half, they made a deal, and then they signed the Sino-British Joint Declaration in 1984. So the whole process, it actually only took 2 years, less than 2 years.
On the Basic Law. So that the influence of the Basic Law is very prominent in Hong Kong. It actually affects our life. People are really fighting for
We want a clean government. We don't have one. And then we want true democracy. We've been fighting for years, since the 80s, and we don't get it.